Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 2 has dropped. And you know what? I watched all 3 episodes. Significantly better than Season 1.
Great.
Now, look, for those of you who may not know, a little bit of background, a little bit of context. I was so excited for Season 1, like it was beyond belief how excited I was for Season 1. And frankly, and I made a video about this a long time ago, I just about tapped out after 1 episode. And I made it all the way through. There were some good episodes, don't get me wrong. There were a couple of episodes that were better than others and things like that. But overall, for me, the season ended up being a disappointment. And because of that disappointment, I really haven't had any excitement about watching Season 2. Now, the trailers that came out of Comic-Con were amazing. Full credit where credit's due. So I really didn't know what I was getting myself in for, sitting down to watch the first 3 episodes of Season 2 last night. And I'm going to say this. I do not love the show. Don't love it.
Okay.
But it is significantly better than the first season. And I was telling Jonathan this a little bit earlier. I could tell I was enjoying it more because at the end of each episode of Season 1, I was like, 4 more episodes to go. 3 more episodes to go. Whereas I legitimately, when each of the first couple of episodes would end, I would legitimately go, great, let's load up the next episode.
Always a good sign.
Great, let's load up the next episode. And then when I finished the 3rd episode, I was like, oh, that's it. I'm all the way through. Oh, all right, I guess I got to wait till next week. That's significantly different than it was last year. And I think one of the biggest improvements for me for this season over last season was I'm going to say the word because it's the best word I know how to describe it, and then I'll elaborate. The tightness of it. Last season, I felt like every other scene was completely unnecessary. Like they would literally have scenes where either A, nothing would happen, B, we wouldn't learn anything new, or C, it was only covering ground that's already been covered in another scene.
Yeah,
It
they went in circles.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, we figured this out.
Right.
Move forward.
There was some kind of obligation to make sure we saw every little group, and you don't need to do that.
No. And I found with the first 3 episodes
Especially
of this
the stinky
season,
little Harfoots.
that is a much improved element. I felt like not every scene was a banger, but every scene when it ended, I could go, I know why that scene was there. And the next scene was, that's why that scene was there. And just on that basis alone, it's like, it makes the show like 50% better. And I can't quantify this, so I might be wrong. I'm just saying how it felt to me.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like we weren't jumping around nearly as much as we were last season.
A little more focused.
A little bit more focused, more purpose in every scene. I thought the dialogue was better than last. And that last season had some scenes that had some terrific dialogue. But I mean, overall, it wasn't a strong point of the show. This season, I feel like it's stronger. I feel like scenes are shorter because they're tightening them up a bit. And I'm finding myself far more engaged with what's going on. Here's a great example too. There's a scene that's not important, I don't think, to the overall story of Rings of Power, but it picks up with the bickering father and son of Durin. And there's something that happens in it. And I'm just going to share what happens. It's not significant, but you know, the father and the son, they aren't talking to each other. And Disa, Durin's wife, happens to be in the king's throne room because they're addressing an issue of state. And everybody leaves, and the king is like, Disa, would you stay behind? And he's trying to get his problems worked out with his son through his son's wife. I live that every day. Anne is like, my wife Anne is like the de facto John ambassador to the Campea family. Because I feel like a lot of times when my family needs something from me, they will reach out to Anne. And it just, because I'm like any father. I've bickered with my father. I've bickered with my dad. And it's often my wife who will then play go-between. Like my dad will talk to her or whatever, and then she'll come talk to me. And it's like, there's this, it just felt so real.
Yeah.
It felt so relatable. And even though they're dealing with the mountain is coming down, it still takes time to deal with these issues of a father and a son are just struggling with how to figure out how to get along because they love each other. There's something about that was very, very special to me. And so while I am not sitting here saying that I love this show now, guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Miracle Made. Guys, it's hot outside and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. So if you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. There are just so many things that make these sheets so fantastic. We already mentioned the self-cooling properties for better quality sleep, but they're also self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. So go to trymiracle.com/Campea. That's TRYMIRACLE.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. I'm not there yet. I'm not even ready to say that this is a great show. I am not there yet. I'm not even quite sure how good of a show I'm willing to say it is.
Lord
yet.
of the Rings, I'm not there yet.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, I'm not there yet. But I will say it is a completely different viewing experience for me now compared to a couple of years ago as I was plodding my way through season 1. And I can honestly say I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to it. Again, it's nowhere near in the same stratosphere as House of the Dragon or stuff like that. But if you can continue to go in the right direction, if they can continue to identify the things that didn't work and the stumbles they made and correct those and try to improve upon them, it's early to say this, granted, but I'll say it. I mean, there could be a bright future for this show if they continue on doing these sorts of things. Now, for all I know, I'm going to sit down and watch episode 4 next week. I'm going to go, I'm out. For all I know, right? Yeah. I don't know. But for right now, it's a significantly better show to me than it was last year. Anyway, Chris, you're a huge Lord of the Rings fan. They dropped 3.5 hours of content on it. How does it compare for you, the stuff you've been able to watch so far, compared to because I know you were pretty disappointed with last season as well.
Yeah, I didn't love it.
How did you feel about what you saw now compared to what you saw last year?
I'm intrigued. So I only got 1.5 episodes into this because your girl went to Italy for a couple Negronis and then watched this before I went to bed. So I really enjoyed what I saw. I liked picking up with all the Sauron stuff at the beginning. I think that was really interesting. I love that we're also seeing people like Elrond, like Durin, skeptical.
Yeah.
Because that's always been one of the things of, we all just go along with some magical rings. That seems way too good to be true in a place filled with magic and that used to have an evil overlord. I like that we're seeing those kinds of moments in here. It does feel like they're taking things a bit more seriously. There's a darker tone to this season overall. It's not as shiny. We are seeing some of the chinks in the armor, if you will, of what Sauron's plot is and how that's affecting the elves, how that's affecting the dwarves. Everyone wants a golden ticket, and I like that exploration of this. Yeah. Right? I love when we see people's desperation and how they're willing to ignore things that seem like red flags, because that's a very human thing. We all do that. We want the easiest thing to be the answer, and I like that exploration that they seem to be going on in this season. I also, like you, I'm really happy that we're not obligatory pinging to other scenes. I did not enjoy that, and that was one of the things I didn't like in the last season was, I don't need to know about these people right now. It's the same scene over and over again. Yeah. I get it. Your audience is smarter than this. For people in the chat, that's Theo. If you're watching the show, that's the character. We had so many people in the chat going, who's that kid? He's on the show that we're talking about right now, you guys.
Yeah. He's also Ray's
relevant.
Most loathed character. So I placed him in Ray's placeholder today.
He's awful. But
he has what you call resting stupid face.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do, and I am enjoying his relationship to Isildur. I think that's a fun thing to do with this character, because for a long time too, I was like, I don't understand the point of Theo. I don't know why Bullcut is here, aside from making all of us angry. And I think that's we're getting a little more reasoning for him being here.
Yeah. Again, and look, and the general response has been much better too. Right now, it went up because yesterday here it was at like 80 something percent. It's gone up to 92. And by the way, I've read through all the reviews. Very, very few of that 92 say they love it, but they're pretty much all, including the ones that didn't like it so far, saying it is an improvement. And of course, the audience score is sitting at 70% right now. I mean, so again, is this must-watch TV? As of right now, I would say no, but damn, it's a much more enjoyable experience for me because I don't feel like it's a labor to watch it like I did last year.
Yeah.
Last year when I was sitting down and watching episodes, it felt like this is work. I have to sit down and get through this. Last night, I was loading up the next episode because I wanted to load up the next episode. And if they can keep going in that direction, maybe we're in for some good stuff. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Have you had a chance to watch the first 3 episodes of Rings of Power Season 2? If so, what did you think? Regardless of whether you liked it, didn't like it, whatever, do you think, like we do, that it's at least an improvement over last season? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.